Must have had a self-destruct.
An Imperial probe droid.
Hey guys, welcome back inside of the Plastic Planet. I am your host, Nick Nack, hanging out with you guys tonight. You know what, guys? My last video I just dropped a couple days ago where I showed off just a random assortment of Star Wars figures that I pulled off of my shelves over here in my storage area. It didn't get a lot of views for me. It didn't do anything great for me, but I am going to try to continue to pump out content for you guys during this time when we are all kind of stuck in our homes. And I'm just trying to give you guys something fun and something distracting from the real life situation that is going on around us. So tonight, I am going to dig into yet another random box of 3 3/4 inch Hasbro Star Wars figures. But this isn't just any box, actually. This is a box. This is another bait box that I used, another tackle box that I probably bought at Walmart years ago. But this one probably, I think, has more of my favorite figures in it. I remember putting more of my favorite figures in these boxes, I think, compared to the other one. So I don't know, this should be fun. I think this is the quality of action figures in this one should be a little better than the one from the last video. So let's check it out, guys. Let's check it out right now. Alrighty guys, so I have 4 trays inside of this bait box and they are all full of action figures, and I'm just going to start pulling them out randomly and talking about them. You know, every single action figure, every single collectible that a real collector has, and I know every single one of you guys are indeed real collectors, but real collectibles in a collection all have a story, and they all have a story that speaks to us, something that is special, you know, within the time that we got it in or whatnot. And every single one of these sort of have a story for me too, even if I've forgotten many of them. But nevertheless, let's just get going. Here is an Imperial dignitary. Kind of looks like Christopher Columbus, but no. This is an Imperial dignitary from Return of the Jedi. I don't remember what line he came out of, but that's a really, really nice figure. Poor Imperial dignitary gets a bad rap from the vintage collection. Everyone shits on Imperial dignitary as he was one of the most unplayworthy figure of all time in the original vintage line, and they aren't wrong about that. But nevertheless, he's a background character and a necessary background character at that. Speaking of Imperial dignitary, here is yet another one, and this one's a little more interesting. He's got a little more of a palish complexion. Looks a little older. Looks a little more ghoulish. I like his gloves and his hands. Very cool. Again, I don't remember what line these guys came out in, but they are very, very cool. And we do seem to have a theme in this box because here is Emperor Palpatine. Not the best version of the Emperor, but here is Emperor Palpatine. Nevertheless, I think his cloak looks a little wonky there, but there he is. Again, I don't remember what line he came out of, but there he is. Now, I do remember what line these guys came out of. There are two Imperial Guards in here, and these are actually from Revenge of the Sith. These are from the Revenge of the Sith line, both of these, respectfully. And yeah, they're really cool. No soft goods on these guys. That is a plastic or like rubberish, it's plastic, but it's kind of a soft plastic cloak on these guys, which I prefer. All of these guys have soft plastics on them. I mentioned that in my last video. I do prefer soft plastic cloaks over, say, like a soft good, which soft goods just don't fit right on 3 3/4 inch figures because they're too small. They come out too fluffed and just look kind of silly. So there we go. Oh, he already fell over. So there we go. There's the Emperor and his cadre there. Alrighty guys, next up we have a Darth Vader, and here's a good example of what I was just talking about in regards to soft goods on 3 3/4 inch figures. You can see that his chain, his cape chain, looks incredibly wonky on this figure. The sculpt itself is nice on the Vader, but it's just the soft goods just don't flow nice. It's just too small of a medium for soft goods, in my opinion. And look at that. Look at the way that chain fits on him. That is just wonky as shit. Looks like he's got some bling on there. So yeah, that's not the best there, but still, you know, I'll give him a B- there for effort. Not terrible, not great. Here's another soft goods. I think this was actually from a VOTC line that I actually opened. This is Indoor Han, and he looks okay. Again, soft goods on 3 3/4 inch figures can be a little wonky, and I think that trench coat is definitely Exhibit A of that assertion. And then, of course, we have Princess Leia from the Battle of Endor there as well. This particular one didn't come with a poncho. Just came with her as she is seen in the last scene of the film, or the last battle of the film, when they are trying to take out that bunker and destroy the shield generator on the forest moon of Endor. Really damn cool. Look at this. Now, this is a great figure right here. Look at this Chewbacca. I don't remember what line he came in, but that is a great looking Chewbacca. Look at him. Look at the face sculpt on him. If we can get a good close up of that. Look at that. I'll get my hand in front of the camera. Look at that. There we go. Yeah, that's pretty nice. The camera still wants to focus on my hand. But anyway, that is really damn nice. Like that a lot. There's Chewie. And I believe the next figure here, these all seem to have a Return of the Jedi theme to them in this particular tray. Got a biker scout, and I think this was a Power of the Jedi biker scout. He is a great looking 3 3/4 inch action figure. Really dig that one a lot. And finally, we have yet another Royal Guard. So you can't have enough Royal Guards. There's another one that happened to be in that box. So pretty cool. All right, 1 down, 3 to go, guys. Alrighty, going through the next box here. Again, this whole box seems to be more original trilogy themed. I mentioned that in the last video when things seemed a little more prequel themed, that, you know, just kind of depended on what particular box I pulled out of my collection. But look, we got a Captain Antilles figure. He's pretty cool, and his neck actually extends. See, I kind of extended it, so you can actually have a Vader. There is a Vader figure that you can work into a chokehold on this guy. And that's pretty damn cool. So you can actually have him getting strangled by Darth Vader. That is absolutely awesome. So very cool. Very cool looking figure there, Captain Antilles. We have an Imperial officer here. He's cool. I think he was Power of the Jedi. Not sure what line he came in. But again, pretty nice figure. Pretty good. Got a couple Princess Leias for you guys coming up now. Here is Bespin Princess Leia in her beautiful Bespin gown. That's a gorgeous figure. Again, they finally start getting the proportions right on these characters, but that also leads to problems with displaying, because, you know, female characters tend to be much more dainty, hence they have, you know, smaller feet, and henceforth, you know, not as good a display base to stand with. If their feet are a little smaller, the center of gravity on these figures are a little different than they would be with maybe a male character, so that kind of sucks. But again, you can't complain with the results, though. You just need to get a good action figure stand. But she is beautiful. Love that piece a lot. And another Bespin Leia. This one is from later in the film. Of course, when they are trying to save Han from Boba Fett. That's a great Princess Leia. Again, very dainty, very small, petite action figure, but as she should be. See if I can kind of lean her up against Captain Antilles there. So yeah, really freaking cool. Speaking of Han Solo, this is a great figure. This might be one of my favorite Han Solos in 3 3/4 inch of all time. Here is Bespin Han Solo. Looking very debonair, very cool. His blaster is small enough now, see that it actually can fit in the holster. He can actually holster that weapon. Very cool. Again, it's more of a rubberized plastic on his vest, which just works better, in my opinion, than soft goods on 3 3/4 inch. So that is a fantastic looking Han. If I can get him to stand for us, maybe. Pressure's on. There he is. Okay, cool. Looks like we have, I don't remember this guy's name. I know he's a Echo Base Commander. General Riken, I believe. Here he is. You're a good fighter, Solo. I'd hate to lose you. So some great Empire Strikes Back love in this particular box. Very cool looking figure. General Riken there. And I think he came with like the cool like computer display panels, you know, from The Empire Strikes Back, the transparent ones where they were like they like had maps on and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty damn cool. Next up is Cliff Clavin from Cheers. John Ratzenberger's character. Very cool. Normie. That was terrible. Sorry, that sounded more like Kermit the Frog. Yeah, there he is. There's John Ratzenberger. Cliff Clavin from The Empire Strikes Back. Very cool. It's kind of hiding back there. I remember reading in an interview once that of John Ratzenberger. I think it was for like the 20th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back. They got an interview with him, and he talked about how much of a crush he had on Carrie Fisher on set when they were filming The Empire Strikes Back, and you know, who can blame him? All right, next we got, oh, this is a good one too, guys. This is a great figure. Lando Calrissian. What do we have here? I love Lando so much. Lando has not gotten enough love over the years in action figure medium. I don't know why, but this is a great Lando. I think this is a Power of the Jedi Lando. Again, some of these figures are still like almost 20 years old. Absolutely incredible. And they still look pretty good. Held up nice. There's Lando. Alrighty. Let's reset a little bit.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Alrighty, guys. Next up, we have his first appearance in this video. We've got a little Luke Skywalker love. This, of course, is Farm Boy Luke Skywalker, complete with poncho and floppy hat, as he is seen in the deleted scenes from Star Wars A New Hope, in which he is out in the desert repairing a moisture evaporator and sees the battle going on above him with the Star Destroyer Avenger and the Tantive 4 going on above him, and he looks through his micro binoculars and checks it out, and then hauls ass over to Anchorhead, where his friends belittle him, including Fixer and Cammy, and they call him Wormy. His nickname's Wormy. So humble beginnings for the great Jedi Knight, and that is what makes a great hero's journey, ladies and gentlemen. It's not hard. All right, guys, I'll get off that. Next up, we got Grand Moff Tarkin. This is a Power of the Force 2 Grand Moff Tarkin. You will notice he's a little more bulked up than he should be. Looks like Peter Cushing was hitting the weights a little bit. That's okay. Still a nice figure. And there is him. We can get him to stand. There we go. My table's at a slight incline too, so some of the stuff isn't standing that great. But there is that. Finally, in this box, this is a pretty good figure. In fact, he comes with a gun. Let me put his gun in his hand. This is a really good figure, kind of winding out that Empire Strikes Back theme that has been throughout this case. Or tray, I should say. There is a generic Hoth Rebel soldier. That is definitely the best looking generic Hoth Rebel soldier I've ever seen, including the vintage. That is really, really cool. His antenna on his transmitter on his backpack's a little bent, but still very cool. Again, rubberized clothing. There's a little bit of soft goods on him, actually, and it's just enough that it kind of gives some flexibility. And you can kind of see the soft goods here, but other than that, the rest of it is pretty much plastic, soft plastic, and hard plastic. Great combination of all the mediums on this figure, and that is a fantastic looking action figure, in my opinion. That is a really, really good Star Wars figure. They don't make them that good anymore, in my opinion. Alrighty, guys, now here is a rarity in my collection as far as 3 3/4 inch, especially in these boxes here, but yeah, I actually have a Rogue One figure here. That is Jen Erso, and she comes alongside this R2-D2, this astromech. It's not R2-D2, but it's an astromech. Those are really nice figures, actually. I believe, I don't know how these guys ended up in this box, but they're really nice. I'm sure I just wanted to keep them safe somewhere. I did enjoy Rogue One a lot, as much as I am not a proponent of Disney Star Wars. I did enjoy Rogue One a lot, and those are two pretty good figures, especially this one. I love that astromech, and that's a nice Jen Erso. I liked her character in Rogue One. Rogue One's a good film. But otherwise, let's keep going, guys. And it looks like we got some more prequel love in this box besides that Rogue One set. We got Shmi Skywalker, guys. Shmi Skywalker. How can you not love Shmi Skywalker, who is of course, the grandmother of Luke and Leia and the mother of Anakin Skywalker. She started it all. as far as the Skywalker clan goes. How can you not love Shmi? So definitely have to have a Shmi Skywalker in my collection. I'm not sure what line she came out of. That might have been Power of the Jedi. I am not sure, but she is cool. Speaking of another awesome prequel figure, forget his name, Orn Free Taa, maybe? I don't know, but he is a senator, and he is a Talik senator, if I'm saying that right. You can see his ukas or whatever they are, his those horns on the back. He is very cool. It's a very good looking figure. I love the ornamentation on his outfit. Again, really, really nice. When you get away from the soft goods, you can see how nice molded plastic can lay on a figure, and he even got the ripple effect in the gown, in his back cloak. Again, you know, soft goods just can't do that. Even on the bottom there, just looks great. Kind of drags along the ground a little bit. That is a good looking figure. I mean, as far as just like amazing looking action figure, this is like an A+. I mean, his hands kind of outstretch. Looks like he's giving a heated speech on the Galactic Senate floor. Looking really, really cool. Love that figure a lot. That's a good figure. Speaking of which, we also have another figure in here, who is a very good figure as well. Again, with a lot of those same qualities. This is Newt Gunray, I want to say. And he looks great. Nah, this isn't Newt Gunray. This is the Trade Federation senator in the Senate. Not Newt Gunray, but he's a different guy. Can't remember his name. I used to know it, can't remember it. But again, look at not the soft goods, but look at the rubberized plastic, the way it hangs. This is a beautiful figure. This is when Hasbro was putting out their best, in my opinion. Just look how good that looks. You know, and the great thing about the prequels is that what people don't understand is the prequels were full of new things. Everything was new in the prequels in so many ways, especially in world building and character designs. And you can really see it in these two figures here. Something that is just grossly lacking in Star Wars today. Just that world building and character design, and these figures really bring it out. Hasbro was really on their A game when they designed these two in particular. Really, really good looking figures. Moving ahead, I think this is Reese. I'm not sure, or he could be another senator. He might be a senator of the same species as Reese. But again, look how phenomenal this action figure looks. Again, it's not soft goods. It's rubberized plastic, but it looks so good, head to toe. This is an amazing action figure. Look at the head sculpt on him. Look at the way that coat fits on him. Just awesome. Look at the trim around the coat. Look how that is. So good. So damn good. Look how good he looks. Amazing. Again, Hasbro was really on their A game at this point in the history of Star Wars figures. We have a Geonosian. This is a later Geonosian. This is from, I don't remember what set he came out in, but this is not an Episode 2 Saga Geonosian. He came out later. Much better looking figure than the original line of Geonosians from Attack of the Clones as far as the action figures go. I don't know if he's showing up real well for you guys, but again, just awesome looking. Everything about this. Look at the wings. Look at the pattern on the wings. Look how good that looks. I mean, this is a mass-produced figure that sold for probably around $6-7 back in the day. Back in 2004, 2005, somewhere in there. Absolutely gorgeous. And he stands nice too. Well, kind of. Yeah, looking really good. And you guys kind of a little bit of a cross-section of what we pulled out so far. Looking really, really good. All right, let's keep going, guys. All right, so this next figure is a real treat for me. This is a great figure. This is an Anakin Skywalker action figure, and he's kind of unique. This is an Anakin Skywalker action figure from it is actually more of a live action version of the animated Genndy Tartakovsky series. This is taken from when Anakin fought Asajj Ventress on the moon of Yavin, on Yavin 4, in those temples. And that was just an epic scene. If you guys remember the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars micro series, you'll remember that short when he and Asajj Ventress, they're in a space battle. They mutually crash on the moon of Yavin 4. and they have a lightsaber duel there in which Anakin basically takes out Asajj Ventress. For all we know, she gets basically thrown off the side of a temple on Yavin 4 by Anakin. But it's just awesome. He's torn up. He's got his outfit all torn up. You can see he's got his robotic hand or forearm and hand there on his saber. His tunic's torn up. But he's still a Padawan at this point. But this is absolutely fantastic. That was a great micro series. If you have the patience to watch, old school 2D animation, man, you got to check out the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars micro series, because that was one of my favorite. That was my favorite episode in that whole series, probably. And again, each episode is only about 5 minutes long. You can buy them on DVD, probably off eBay now. But yeah, that is a great looking figure. Love that one a lot. Next up, we have another Episode 3 figure, another Jedi. This is George Lucas's kid, I believe, from Revenge of the Sith. Of course, he got gunned down by clone troopers during Order 66 in the Jedi Temple, and Bail Organa witnessed his gruesome death, but that's badass. He went out like a badass, and yeah, everything about Episode 3 is badass, but that's a great figure too. I like that one a lot. And I do believe that was played by that character was played by George Lucas's son. Not sure, but I think it was. Really, really cool. All right, guys. Next up, I think we're going to go back to Episode 2 now. And again, these are all gems, guys. These are all really, really good figures. Well, this one might have a little bit of a paint scuff on. I'm not sure. Anyway, here is Yoda on his levitating chair from Episode 2, and he looks really cool. I like that a lot. Again, I liked how things that were as the Hasbro line moved along, they got really creative with things that levitate and stuff. So they give you a little clear stand here. Oh, there's some yellowing on that stand a little bit, just from age there. But again, this is a beautiful, beautiful piece. And he actually, I think this was a set, because he actually came with a couple. I think I still have all the pieces to him. I'm not sure. He came with a couple of Jedi training younglings. They have their little blast shield helmets on. There's one. That's like a Nikto species there. Really cool. There's one. There's another. There's another one right there. Very cool. And these guys are great. Look at that. Look at that. There's a third one in here. I don't know where her helmet went. She had a blast shield helmet too. Who knows? Maybe this is baby Ahsoka. Who knows? Probably not. But, that's cool. I'm missing her helmet. That sucks. I'm sure it's somewhere. But, yeah, look at those. That's a great set right there. I always loved that set a lot. Yoda training the younglings there with their little lightsabers. And they would have, of course, their little training balls would be going around, zapping them. Really, really cool. Really, really fun. Again, this was just, I loved Star Wars so much back then. Oh, just so amazing. So much fun. Alrighty, guys, next up we got a pod racer here. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at the color on this guy. Look at the color on his snout and his outfit. Oh, he is so cool. He is a pod racer from Episode 1, although this is not an Episode 1 figure. This is a later figure. Again, I'm not sure in the timeline of when he came out. He's got a nice orbit on his neck, so you can kind of pose his head in different ways. Again, he's got a nice short statue, so he's a little short. You'll see him next to the George Lucas's Jedi son here. But looking really cool. That is an amazing, awesome looking pod racer. Don't know his name, but he is really, really cool. And then finally, we have, I don't remember her name. Oh, it's killing me. Oh, Uncle Pat would know her name. There she is. She's from Episode 2. She was featured in the Clone Wars series, the main Clone Wars series. She was featured in that. I'm gonna remember her name as soon as I get done shooting. Yeah, she's an awesome Jedi character. Get her to stand. She's got a little bit of soft goods on her, as you guys can see on her skirt there, but it's not intrusive and it doesn't stick out too much. And this is like a nice this ornamental like cloth here is it's like a nice plastic overlay. So again, it's like this is another great example of how soft goods and hard goods and malleable plastic can really be really make a good figure. Just mixed medium all the way. Her veil is is a hard plastic. Yeah, she's really, really cool. Yeah. Can't remember her name, though. I actually have a statue of her, too. Jeez, I can't remember. And her Barisafi was her apprentice. I can't remember her name, though. Luminara? Luminara, something. Yeah, Luminara. Damn it. I knew I'd get it. All right, so that's that box, guys. Oh, no, there's one more in here. Got another little pod racer. I think he came in the same set as this guy. Same set, but he is cool. I think he met a bad end during the Bunta Eve pod racing race in episode 1, but he is really cool. I don't know if he'll stand real well, but we'll kind of lean him up there. Yeah, he is cool. Look at that. So yeah, that's what we got out so far. That is a nice assortment of figures, isn't it, guys? That is really, really dynamite. Much better than the last video. Really, really damn cool.
They're like animals, and I slaughtered them like animals. I hate them.
Alrighty, guys, we are down to our last box, which is a good thing because I'm running out of space on my tabletop up here. But this is a really, really dynamite box. I'm just looking at it, and these are some of my best figures in here, I think. And to start off, we have a favorite of mine, and that is R5-D4. This is a more modern version of R5-D4. I think he came out in 2010, 2011, somewhere in there. I was so excited to find this figure. This was like I think this figure was the first time Hasbro in the modern line actually did a good R5-D4. As you guys will recall, in the Power of the Force 2 line, they came out with an R5-D4, and I was so excited for that back in 1996, 1997. But it had that horrid. I actually did a video on it early on in my channel about like the worst figure of all time, and it probably is. It had this horrible gimmick where he split in half basically, and a stupid missile came out, and he was huge. He was so unproportioned and so clunky. So I was so excited to get this R5-D4 in my collection because this is a gorgeous, gorgeous looking astromech. I mean, this is a gorgeous figure. This might be one of my favorite all-time figures, period. And I always had a thing for R5-D4, going back to when I was a kid, having him in the vintage line and losing him. And I always mourned the loss of that particular vintage Kenner R5-D4. And so when I got this guy, I found him on a work time toy hunt. Basically, I was at work, and I went out for lunch and found him at a Walmart. I was so excited to get him. It was really a rejuvenating collector moment for me, because you go in, when you're collecting toys and you're collecting figures, you go in lulls where you're still buying stuff, but sometimes you feel like you're just kind of going through the motions. And that was definitely a moment that was just like I felt like a kid again, finding this particular action figure. Every single collectible to a true collector, if I haven't mentioned this before, has a story. Some of them I've forgotten as far as these figures go, but that one I definitely remember. So yeah, true collectors remember that every collectible has a story and has a unique place in our heart and why we own it. And I look at this figure and I know exactly why I own it. And it has roots going back to when I was 8 years old. So very, very cool. That's a great figure. Let's keep going. Here's another great figure. This was a Saga Luke Skywalker, and this is one of my favorite Bespin Lukes ever. I love the rendition of Luke Skywalker on Bespin when he fights Darth Vader, and this one is fantastic because not only is he battle damaged, this was the first time they ever did a battle damaged Luke Skywalker. If you guys can see that, come on, focus, focus, focus. So he has got the battle damage going on there. That's something I used to do with a magic marker on my vintage figure when I was a kid. I'd get a little red marker and put little cuts around his eyes to kind of simulate what he went through on Bespin, because I enjoyed having my Furos fail when I was a kid because it was more relatable. And I loved the fact that Luke got his ass kicked at Bespin. It was more relatable. It was, we all get our ass kicked once or twice in life, and we can all relate to that. I love this figure a lot. And this figure, like a lot of these Saga era figures from just after episode 2, have magnets in them. And the use of the magnets is brilliant. Because look at this. You can actually, there's a magnet in his nub there, and you can actually take off his hand. And it just attaches right back on there, like with a magnet. And it's just brilliant. Well done, Hasbro. That was one of my favorites in that whole line. And I think he came with like a little weather antenna and shit too. I don't remember, but I think he had more. But anyway, that's a fantastic looking figure. Here's another great looking figure, although she's kind of in a static pose. But here is Princess Leia from A New Hope with her cloak up, and she's got a Stormtrooper blaster, which is a little bit, a little bit of a creative license there. I don't think she you know, had her hood up when had her on the Death Star when she had a Stormtrooper blaster, but still, that's a great looking figure. Great looking mold on her. And I don't remember where I got her. She might have been the part of the early bird kit that came out around 2005 when they were trying to simulate the early bird, where you basically got a empty box of cardboard and you sent away for figures, much like you did in 1978 with the original Kenner early bird, but they did it again in 2005 as a gimmick. And I think that was the Princess Leia that came in that early bird set. Again, that was on the release day for episode 3 figures, but it was sort of a vintage callback during the prequel era. So anyway, I think that's where she came from. I could be mistaken, but still cool. All right, guys, here's another badass figure, and I do mean badass. If you're an EU fan, you'll definitely know who this is. And he was featured in one episode of the modern Clone Wars series as well, and that is a Clone Trooper ARC Trooper. Look at that guy. He's got a jetpack on his back. It's kind of, there we go. That is badass. These guys were like the elite of Clone Troopers, and they were from the original Dark Horse comics, I believe. Star Wars Dark Horse comics, Clone Wars Dark Horse comics. And he is absolutely fantastic. What an awesome looking figure. Let's get you a little more of a look at them. I know people love their clones, and this is probably the best clone character design ever made, in my opinion. Yeah, that is nice. Look at that. Just beautiful. I love that figure. And he's got this very unique blaster or something kind of gun. I don't know. Probably does something special. That's really cool. A little bit of battle damage on his armor. That hits the sweet spot. That is a good looking figure, guys. Absolutely awesome. Next up, another robot. This is actually a Power of the Force 2 robot, but a little bit of a later one. And this is a Death Star droid. He is cool. And you can tell he's Power of the Force 2 just because of the way his stance is a little wider. He's a little girthier than he should be, but it's still, that's a pretty good figure. I wouldn't kick this one out of bed, so to speak. That's a pretty good figure. I always loved the Death Star droid just because of my connection with it to the vintage line. Pretty awesome. And looks like we have another C-3PO, or a first time we've had a C-3PO actually. And this is a pretty good looking C-3PO. I believe he's from Return of the Jedi. And you can tell he's from Return of the Jedi because all of his inner cords are all straightened up when after he got blown apart at Bespin, and in his first appearance in Return of the Jedi. That was always something I noted when I was a kid, that they managed to straighten up all of his midsection cords because they were all a jumbled mess in A New Hope and in Empire Strikes Back. But in Return of the Jedi, he was all looking pretty sharp. So I think this is a Return of the Jedi era C-3PO, but I don't remember what line he came out in, but it is a later line. This is probably from anywhere between 2005 and 2012, I'd say. That's a really good looking C-3PO though. Head to toe, that's a good looking C-3PO. So we'll put him right next to the Death Star droid. We are running out of space, but we're also almost out of figures too, so that's a good thing. Here is another good figure. And again, I don't know exactly when he came out, but this was a figure that was sort of always kind of, he was kind of always overlooked a little bit. And that is Luke Skywalker from the Battle of Hoth. And you know that, I mean, it was always just like in the Kenner line, it was just, the X-Wing pilot was always the stand-in for this, but it was different. He had cold weather gear on over his X-Wing jumpsuit, and you could always kind of tell that. And it was a different figure. And yeah, so this is I think the only 3 3/4 inch version of that figure I happen to have, but this is a great looking figure. The helmet is removable, if I'm not mistaken, but it just takes off and you can see the underside of it, which of course would be his underneath his helmet there, of course, would be, the little hood he has, to keep his ears warm. So again, this is a warm weather gear he has on, and it's something that was really overlooked for years and years. I finally did get I was really excited to get the Sideshow Collectibles version of this Luke Skywalker, and he's upstairs, and I've showed him off before. But this is the 3 3/4 inch version from Hasbro, and again, doesn't disappoint. Lightsaber hilt is in his hand as he's going, and he is hunting AT-AT walkers. And he is going to go slay an AT-AT walker, and that is absolutely awesome. So that's a great looking figure. Again, these are some of my best 3 3/4 inch in this box, I think. Get him up there. Okay. Alrighty, coming up next, guys, this is a very, very late Power of the Force 2 figure. And this guy came out, I want to say, in 1990. or 19, probably 1998 or 1999, and they were just starting to get the line right as far as body proportions and making action figures actually look like real human beings as opposed to Mr. Olympia. And this, of course, is Han Solo from A New Hope. Great looking figure. His blaster can be holstered, and it can also be carried, can be taken out. Again, there's no soft goods, but it's all nice, stylized, soft molded plastic for his vest. Very good looking figure. They'd done better Han Solos, but this one's pretty damn good. And, he looks really badass when he's holding his gun with his hand gesture there. As you guys can imagine, I'm not going to put that gun in his hand right now because I'll probably drop it on the floor, but really great looking figure. This was also one of the first times, I believe, when they went away from the traditional 5 points of articulation. You started getting more articulation in the knees, in the elbows. So this is a great figure. This was when the figure line really turned a corner and started really putting out good looking action figures, if I recall. Alrighty guys, I talked about this earlier, and I found the companion piece to that Anakin Skywalker figure from the Jendy Trikowski Clone Wars micro episode when he battled Asajj Ventress on the moon of Yavin 4. And here she is, if I can get her lightsaber in her hand. Very cool. There is Asajj Ventress from that micro series, Clone Wars. This, of course, is a live action realized version of that character. They didn't have anything to go off at that point. She was just a cartoon at that point, but this is Hasbro's attempt at creating a live action version of Asajj Ventress. All of her clothing pieces are molded. There's no soft goods, but it's good because it really it just looks nice. It looks damn nice. Of course, she's got that curved lightsaber. Of course, she was, very heavily influenced by Count Dooku's fighting style and adopted, his curved lightsabers as a consequence of that. So very awesome. This is very cool figure. I actually always had her and Anakin posed together on a shelf as they were dueling it out because that was such a great scene. I've already talked about that, but it's such a great scene. Very, very cool. Alrighty guys, and finally from Revenge of the Sith, I believe this is from the Revenge of the Sith line, I've got a standard clone trooper, or maybe this is a communications clone because he's got some kind of antenna on the back, but this is a Revenge of the Sith era clone trooper as they're continuing the evolution towards looking more and more like Imperial stormtroopers. But very cool, and not much to say about this guy. I still got you guys can see I still got the yellow rubber bands on him because it just kept the gun in his hand better. That he came in the package almost probably exactly like that. I never took the rubber band off. The rubber band is starting to yellow on me. But yeah, very, very cool. So I can get it back there without knocking everybody over. Yeah, awesome. Awesome. And that is it, guys. That is it. I'll give you guys a little bit of a panoramic view of all the figures we got out today. And these are all standing a lot better than the ones from the other night, too. But looking really, really awesome. Look at all those. Yeah, that's a good-looking collection. I can tell why I had these specially packed up. They lived up to their billing, I would say. Definitely. Alrighty guys, well that's going to wrap up this edition of the Plastic Planet. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video half as much as I enjoyed making it, and that would be mission accomplished for me if that is the case. That was a good time, and there was a lot of really, really damn awesome action figures in that particular set there. Really, really awesome. Alright guys, like I said, that's going to wrap things up here on the Plastic Planet. Please like, share, comment, please do subscribe, and please stay safe out there, guys. Till next time, guys. Yeah, life is also very, very short, so guys, so stay in and appreciate all your awesome plastic crap. All right, guys, later. Love you. Bye.